What's up, my nerd friends? Today we're gonna look at two new units for the next event, which will be the limited event, Summer Breeze and the Port of Hope. And we'll be getting one 6-star and one 5-star. The 6-star will be Carleen Carlter and the 5-star will be Ciel. Let's look at the 6-star first, which is Carleen the Smoltering Soul. And she is now a fire unit and apparently a converters. And I have to say, it's a really strong stat for converters, 3,200. That's really on the high side. I think for converters should definitely have one of the highest stat ever. I think the only one higher than that is Amemori. Yeah, Amemori has 3,600, but Amemori doesn't make tiles. Carleen Carlter does, and very surprised me she has such a good stat. So let's start with the active skill, which is Combust. Consume 2 Smoldering Soul to teleport to any tiles within 16 tile in a crushed shape. So I'll put the visual on the screen. This kind of looked like this. A very weird kind of place to teleport, but what do I know? Then convert 2 tiles in front and behind the unit to red tiles, and then deal 150% damage to tiles along the way and 1 tile in front. Gain 1 Smoldering Soul if an enemy is hit. Trigger up to 2 times each round. And the Smoldering Soul, when entering battle, you gain 2 points and you get 1 point at the start of each round, up to 6 points. So you can store 6 points. That means you can potentially use 3 at once, or you can use the skill every the other turn. So if you are familiar with the cooldown system, she essentially have a 1 turn cooldown. But since Carleen Smoldering Soul used the stack system like the OCL units, she doesn't really have a cooldown, so a unit that can siphon your cooldown or lower your cooldown doesn't really work on Carleen Carlter, which is good. There is also another line which says gain 1 Smoldering Soul when an enemy is hit by your skill, and I assume since it says if an enemy is hit, not for each enemy hit, you can only get maximum 1 Smoldering Soul no matter how many units you hit by the active skill. So it's a pretty interesting one because you can actually make red tiles while teleporting, although the teleport is very limited since it's kind of like a straight line, but you do make tile. And the fact that you can get 1 soul back when you hit an enemy, that potentially means you can cast this ability every single turn if you manage to hit an enemy every single turn. And yeah, it's pretty crazy to think about. You get 2 tiles every single turn, and that's even more tiles you can convert than your conventional converters like IC or Fouls, which will convert 4 tiles every 2 turns, but Carleen will get 2 tiles every turn. So it's 2 more tiles than your Fouls or your IC. So that alone is already quite strong, but you also have the ability to deal damage and teleport. So Carleen Carlter is really good. That active skill alone is just really strong. But let's look at the chain combo. You have 4 chain, 9 chain, and 13 chain, and the first 4 chain will be 12 tiles in a diamond shape. Not a fan, but it's still okay. It's like the Bethlehem chain combo. And at 13 chain you get radio shape. Again, not the best, but radio shape is okay, I would say. And then the equipment, you have Serene Radiance, which is dealing defend ignoring damage equal to 30% of attack to enemies on red tiles. So this is kind of similar to Charon and Smoky. It's kind of a combination of both. So Charon has 10% defense ignoring damage, doesn't have the red tiles condition, but Charon also can attack diagonally. So I do think Charon equipment is better than Carleen one. And then you have Smoky, which is 100% defense ignoring damage, but you can only proc it 1 time. And Smoky also have the red tiles on red tiles condition, which will do double damage, double equipment damage, not your actual damage. So I would say in terms of strength, I would say Smoky and Charon equipment is better than Carleen. Carleen one is kind of it's only 30%, and you have to have that condition of enemy being on red tiles or else you literally do nothing. It's pretty easy to trigger if you're only fighting 1 enemy, but if you're fighting multiple enemy like mob stages, I do think this equipment is very hard to proc. And even you do proc it, it's not really that good. I mean, Smoky already have 100%. You only need 1 hit, and this one you need like 4 hits to even match Smoky equipment strength. And Smoky equipment also triggers when you use chain combo and you use the active skill. So I do think Carleen equipment is okay. It's kind of meh. But yeah, the active skill alone, I think, push Carleen to one of the strongest fire unit I'll say S plus tier. Not sure if she's SS yet because, well, yes, she can make 2 tiles, but the 2 tiles is not like very usable. You know what I mean? Because if you want to hit an enemy with the skill, most likely you're not really gonna use the tile that much. So either you don't hit the enemy, so you don't get 1 soul back, and you can make sure you get 1 tile like on addition of the enemy, or you make sure you hit the enemy and you get like some tiles that can make you connect better. But overall, I do think Carleen Alchemy is pretty strong. The breakthrough tree, I assume, will be the when entering battle, gain 2 points, which is kind of like a preemptive strike. It's pretty important because this will allow you to teleport right away, and you also can get the Smoltering Soul when hitting enemies condition right away. Pretty good. So yeah, kinda need breakthrough tree, but not really, because I do think without breakthrough tree, she is quite strong enough. You just need to wait 1 more turn to use this skill, and you can use the skill every other turn. It's pretty good. Should you summon? I don't know. I'm honestly not too sure yet, because while she's good, I already have Smokey, which can teleport, and her teleport is kind of limited anyway. I will consider it. I think I'll do like a couple summon, and if I get like off banner, I wouldn't pursue too much. But overall, I do think Carleen is one of the stronger unit, especially on fire where there's not a lot of teleporters. Next up, we have Ciel. Ciel is kind of like a weird spot in Thunder right now. She is very good. I mean, she is basically Beverly, but she converts green tiles to yellow. But I think that's what I can say about her. She is a converter, has really terrible stat. I mean, one of the worst stat I've seen on a converter. 2300 attack, that's super low, and her health is low too, and her defense is also on the low side. Most units have around 10k health and around 1000 plus defense, but she has a very low stat. Her active skill is basically Beverly, and Grundru's skill, no, not Grundru, basically Beverly. Beverly will convert red tiles to yellow, and Ciel will convert green tiles to yellow. And because it's so similar to Beverly, I can already assume what the breakthrough will be. So the first breakthrough will be, if the active skill was ready the last round, increase the tile converting count by 1 this round. And then the maximum breakthrough will be 1 more green tiles to yellow. But you also have the solar arrow mine thingy. What is that? Well, that is her equipment, which is solar arrow domain. Whenever a chain combo hits the target, it leaves a solar arrow mines on a random tiles within 1 surrounding cluster that disappear after triggering and exploding when enemy pass it or when the round ends. Dealing defense ignoring damage equal to 30% of Ciel attack to 5 tiles in a cross shape. Is this good? I mean, you place a mine down and then the mines will explode if the enemy step on it or when the rounds end. The damage is only 30% of Ciel attack, and we all know Ciel has terrible attack, so this equipment is bad. I kind of wish she has more utility instead of doing damage, because let's be frank, we don't really want Converter to do damage. I kind of wish the mine will like have additional effect other than just doing damage, like burning the enemy for example, or even paralyze the enemy. I feel like that would be even better than whatever it is currently doing, because I understand burn is not really what Thunder unit want to do, but paralyze is, and there's only 1 character that can paralyze in Thunder, which is Grundru. Why don't make it more? I mean, she even have the mech like Grundru. You can give her that, but instead of that, we got damage, which on a unit that doesn't do damage anyway. Let's look at her chain combo, which is Drill Headburst. You have 4, 8, and 13 chain, and her chain is very similar to the chain of Luke, which will deal damage multiple times, but on the same unit, you will do less and less damage every time you hit the same target. It's alright, I guess. Like I said, she doesn't do that much damage, so even though you have this, it doesn't really matter that much. You also leave behind a mines if you hit enemy with your chain combo. I assume you only leave behind 1 arrow mines, no matter how many times you hit, because it says whenever a chain combo hit the target. So yeah, it could mean that you leave more mines up. I kind of wish it does that, but even then, I don't really think it's that good. Because, you know, the mine doesn't really scale based on how much like tiles you walk. It always just deal like 30% of Ciel attack. You cannot scale the damage, so it doesn't do that much damage. I'm gonna be frank, you will not feel the damage of the mines. Like, it almost feel non-existent. But yeah, it's automatically S tier already because of the fact she's a converter. She's just Beverly, but slightly special, I guess. And the fact that you can use Beverly and Ciel together, I guess is a plus. And for those people who don't have ground rule, this is your ground rule replacement. But yeah, at the end of the day, should you summon for this banner? I do think this banner is not bad. Would I summon? I'm not too sure yet. I do think Carlter is quite good, but not good enough to make a huge impact in a fire meta right now, I feel. If you're a new player, I do think it's a very highly recommended to summon. But for a veteran like me, where I have already a very strong team, and whenever I want to summon, I either really like the character or I really like the skill it provides. And Carleen is up there. It's definitely up there. For me, if the gain 1 soul when you hit an enemy with the active skill is not locked behind maximum breakthrough, I actually think I might summon. I still need a little bit of testing, I guess, to see how she actually function in the game. But overall, decent banner. That's it for me today. I'll see you all next time. Peace.